So let's get into exactly the why. Why are we here today? Time is of the essence, so we do want to move forward. As our other participants arrive, they will definitely catch up and engage in this enlightening experience. Our purpose for today? Well, in celebration of National Career Development Month, we are beyond excited to offer this session, The Art of Storytelling in Networking and Interviewing. Storytelling is one of the most powerful tools that a job seeker can have in his or her toolkit. Being competent, producing meaningful results, effectively communicating these skills is essential. The thing is, if you have all of these qualities, if you produce the results, but you don't have the ability to effectively communicate, then it will be difficult to stand out from the crowd. So let's be clear. Storytelling sense is not fiction. It is not fabrication. It is conveying your background in a meaningful, impactful way. Effective storytelling has the ability to bring forth significant accomplishments to everyday life, elevate daily routine job responsibilities and tasks you may have, and ultimately capture the attention of prospective employers. But how well do you know your own story? Can you share your accomplishments, convey your leadership philosophy, highlight your experiences that make you distinct? Through today's facilitated discussion, we will explore just how to prepare for a networking event or a job interview by accumulating insights about yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this experience with Career and Employment Resources at Wake Tech. We have some dynamic presenters among us today, so get ready. First, let me introduce you to our moderator. Sandra Dubose is an award-winning national motivational speaker, author, and multi-talented performing artist. She used her voice as a professional development coach to teach life-changing principles that not only inspire, but also build self-esteem in diverse audiences of adults and teens. Sandra's personal story and accomplishments have garnered national media attention and have given her an honored place in history as North Carolina's first bald beauty queen. At the age of 25, she was diagnosed with the autoimmune disease alopecia areata. This resulted in complete hair loss and the decline of her confidence. Sandra was able to overcome this challenge by redefining beauty, and through the practice of self-love, she is a living example of the power we all possess to transform our lives and shift our experiences from feeling frustrated and fearful into living free. Sandra, are you ready? I'm
I
tossing
am
the mic over your way. Take it away.
I am so ready. Thank you so much, Laura, for inviting me to be a part of this amazing um, workshop that we're going to have today. The art of storytelling. It's such a powerful tool to be able to share your story in a way that allows you to connect with people and allow them to see who you really are. So thank you for the invitation to be a part of this. I'm excited to be able to learn from these amazing panelists that you have. So we're going to get into some really engaging conversation. Want to go ahead and really invite everyone to get in that chat. Let us know what you're thinking. Talk back to us because this is a conversation. Make sure you're taking notes because there's going to be a lot of wisdom. So you want to make sure you get those nuggets down because they're going to be giving you some really powerful tools and strategies. So we're going to get right into it. Let me first introduce you to who the panelists are, and then we'll one by one give them an opportunity. I'll ask them a question, and they will have the opportunity to share with us their expertise. Okay? So our very first panelist is Moses T. Alexander Green. and he is the director of performing arts and film at the North Carolina Museum of Art. Outside of that, he's also the artistic director, founder, and a playwright, among other things, for La Vie Mahab Productions, which stands for In Him We Live, We Breathe, and We Have Our Meaning. I believe that's right, Moses. If I didn't get that right, please correct me. But I know it comes from a scripture, so it has a very deep and powerful meaning. And Moses, he actually has his MS in New Media Management. He went to Syracuse University, and also a BA dual degree in African American Studies and Writing for television, radio, and film. And he is a fellow New Yorker. He's from Long Island, and he's a 10th generation New Yorker. He will let you know more about that. Very proud 10th generation New Yorker. So Moses T. Alexander Green, we're very happy to have you on our panel and share your wisdom with us. After Moses, we're going to hear from Brian Rufiner. And Brian Rufiner is an assistant professor of communications right here at Wake Technical Community College. He holds a Bachelor of Arts in Education and a Master of Arts in Communication and Leadership from Gonzaga University. In addition to teaching at the college level for the past 15 years, Brian has worked as an educational grant administrator and counselor, specializing in assisting first-generation migrant students. Outside of academia, he has worked for various organizations, including the United States Department of Defense and Fox Studios, where he engaged in public relations and television news. His academic research interests include studying the intersectional effects of masculinity and race within the context of communication. Brian enjoys spending time with his wife, his two daughters, rooting on the Duke Blue Devils, and rationalizing why he needs yet another pair of sneakers, which I doubt he does. I have not seen the collection. However, I know you got 2 feet, and you can only wear one pair at a time. But you do your thing. You do your thing, Brian.
Appreciate it.
Next, we have Larry Tucker. Larry Tucker, a former radio disc jockey. So he's got a fabulous voice. He's a recruiter, education consultant, and high school counselor. He is an award-winning speaker who also had the honor of competing in Toastmasters International, the finals of the 2000 World Championship of Public Speaking. Larry has a bachelor's degree in communications and a master's degree in career counseling. In addition, Larry has certifications as a global career development facilitator and a passion test facilitator. With over 20 years of counseling and career development experience, Larry's passion is to empower students to do what they are born to do. And we're so proud to have him here at Wake Tech serving the students as a career development coach. Another fellow New Yorker, and he is very, very powerful and passionate about helping students. So we are, and I personally have had the opportunity to work with Larry on some projects, and he is just amazing. So last but not least, and then we're going to get right into it, we have Marcia Mccoy. She is an assistant professor of communication right here at Wake Tech since 2014. She attended Campbell University and Florida State University for her degrees in mass communication and has taught public speaking for over 10 years. She is a member of Toastmasters International and has won state competitions in 2019 right here in Raleigh. She is also an ally for Pathways Male Minority, mentoring program, a consultant for Phi Beta Lambda, and co-advisor for Phi Theta Kappa. And she is my former communications teacher when I took a course right here at Wake Tech. And she is an amazing instructor and person, and she keeps it engaging. And you are going to experience a real treat from Marcia and I, but I'm just going to say, stay tuned, because you don't want to miss Miss Marcia doing her thing when it comes to her time. So we're going to have a lot of fun today, but we're going to go ahead and get started, bringing to the stage Moses T. Alexander Green. And I have a question for you to get us started, Mr. Green. How are you today, Mr. Green? Unmute yourself.
Unmute? How about that? Let's start there with communications. I'm doing well. My background doesn't look as great as Brian's, and my voice may not be like Larry's, and I may not be, I might have the qualifications of Marcia, but I'm here.
and you're amazing, and we're happy to have you here. So don't even try it. I mean, we can go on for days and days about all of the great things that you've done as an actor and all of that stuff. But right now, we want to take a little bit of time to pick your brain, if you don't mind. The question we have for you, we want to gain clarity on the network you are seeking to connect with. So the question is, we want you to give us some insight on how strategy development can lead to the results that you want when it comes to interviewing. So in your vast experience, I didn't even talk about all the places that you worked. You used to be the director over at NC State for the African American Cultural Center. So many things that you've done, but can you share with us just for a few minutes some wisdom on that topic?
So one, it's great to see everyone.
Yeah.
When it comes to strategy development, I think that you have to know your end goal. Then you got to know what you want. I think you have to know what you're not willing to put up with. And that comes from work environment. That comes from salary. And I'm going to stay right there at salary, because to begin to take a job that the salary is already under what you want, you are going to walk in every day from day one being frustrated. So you have to know as much about your end goal as possible. And so, is my end goal to work in the arts? Is it that broad, or is it specific? Is my end goal to work with a specific community? Is it to work with males, females, persons that identify as males, female? Is it to work with African American or a specific population? Or is it a broader stroke? And so the first strategy that I say is, you've got to know what your end goal is. And then almost simultaneously, I think you have to know yourself. And that means you have to know your strengths and your weaknesses at this point in your career, because I believe that those change. Can you all hear me?
We can. You were coming out a little bit, but just keep going. I think you're okay now.
Okay. Yeah. So I said you also need to know your own personal and professional strengths and weaknesses, because those are going to change in different seasons of your career. Those are going to change. COVID has made all of us, and I love that we have so many communications persons on here. When I was in college in the 90s, the mid 90s, they wanted you to be a communications specialist. But now you have to be a communications generalist. Case in point, think of back in the day, you were just a camera person, and then someone would just be talent. Now in television, you're writing your own copy, you are shooting your own shot, and you're packaging it all, and you're editing it, and sometimes. And so you're going to have to learn how to ebb and flow, but that's going to come from you knowing yourself, from you knowing the market, and you knowing your strengths and your weaknesses.
That's powerful. I love that you said that when you talked about knowing your strengths and weaknesses. What specifically stuck out to me is you said in different seasons, like that will change. Can you talk a little bit about what you mean by that?
Yes, so this is my perfect example. I go to school, I graduate in 1995. I go to school to Syracuse University to get a degree in writing for television, radio, and film. What happens in 1995? The Real World comes out, and reality TV pretty much throws my complete degree out, because now people want reality. They don't want scripted.
Wow.
So what did I have to go to? I had to go to my other skills.
Wow.
Because skills are transferable.
Right.
And so what ends up happening is I don't write for TV, I begin to sell TV. And then I begin to do marketing. And then from marketing, by happenstance, I land at the TV show All My Children in the writer's office. But if I was just waiting for the one thing that I said I was going to do when I graduated, I would have been unemployed or underemployed, sitting there waiting. And so COVID in 2020 has taught us you have to be flexible. And the seasons of your life and your age and the market changes and television is changing all the time. Now you have we always had made for TV movies, But now you have Netflix. There was no Netflix. So back then you were trying to get at ABC, NBC, CBS,
Right.
and then they had Fox and UPN. Now in my industry, you want just content. And so the one thing I want to encourage everyone in 2020 has taught us more than anything, as Larry said, the pivot. You have to be able to. And I think we did this generation, our generation, and future generations a disservice when we tell them, and I'm not saying don't dream. I think there's no one who dreams better than I. As a matter of fact, all those Post-it notes right there are artists that I want to bring here. I want to bring Anthony Hamilton and Jill Scott. I want to bring Jonathan Butler. So I'm dreaming, but if my budget says that I have to afford, and I'm not going to, if all of my budget says that I can afford
Sandra Dubose, you can
Sandra
afford
Dubose and PJ Morton, then I have to do that. So basically I'm saying, know yourself, know your strengths, know your weaknesses.
Good.
And as the seasons of life, with the seasons of your industry change, you have to be flexible.
I love that. That was powerful. Thank you. Thank you, Moses. Hang in there because we're going to come back and talk some more. But right now we're going to go on and move into Brian with his sneakers. You got on some cool sneakers today, Brian?
You know, if I'm being completely honest, right now I am barefoot.
I'm so jealous. I
Yeah.
think we all should be. Wherever you are, if you can just kick your shoes off.
Yes, that's right, Sandra. That's right.
That's good stuff. Okay, so the question we want to talk to you about, Brian, how do you craft a personal story for use in networking and interviewing? So what would you say is the formula for that?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. Well, in the short time that I have, I wanted to cover a couple different things. So number one, why is storytelling so effective for job interviews? And also, I want to share like a specific storytelling methodology that I teach in my courses and that I've also used in my personal life to help me answer interview questions effectively. And this is not to brag. This is simply to inform. But every job interview that I've ever gotten, and I employed this storytelling method, I've gotten the job. So it's like 10 out of 10.
We're writing this down. Everybody write this down.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nothing. It's definitely nothing that I did other than just the methodology was taught to me, and then I practiced it and sort of tweaked it over the years. And I'm going on probably 10 for 10. So, yeah, like Moses said, the seasons comment was definitely on point. I've had so many seasons in my career and have pivoted a few times. So, I think storytelling is so effective, not only for job interviews, but in general. It's really because our brains are wired to be interested in good stories. And I know Moses can attest to that as a television writer, that, studies show that sort of what's called the oxytocin, that those levels increase in our nervous system when we hear detailed sort of character-driven stories that are well-constructed narratives. And not to dig too much into the science part of it, but when like oxytocin is like the chemical in the brain, so that tells us, hey, this person that I'm interviewing, if he or she is telling a good story, again, those oxytocin levels rise, and the oxytocin tells our brains that, hey, this person is trustworthy, this person is safe, this person is intelligent, right? So, storytelling also, you can leverage what's called the curiosity gap. Right. So it's like that psychological state where we want to know what happens next. Mm-hmm. So think of the page turning novels that you read and sort of the bingeable shows and the movies that we all love. So, and I can go on and on and on. So for example, there's different storytelling methods, like structures. One, for example, is called like Freytag's pyramid. It's sort of basic, but there's these different parts to it. There's like an exposition, there's like the tension and an exciting incident, sort of the rising action, the climax, the falling action, the moment of last suspense, and then there's a conclusion and a transformation, right? So a lot of movies and television shows, even the news, follow these different storytelling structures, and when they do them right, these are the shows that we remember, right? These are the books that we remember, and what have you. So I like to use a movie example. It's one that we all know, and it's called Finding Nemo, right? That's an older movie, but it's made. I mean, I have 2 kids, so I've seen it 9,000 times. Yeah, I can pretty much.
Nemo.
No, I'm done with Nemo, so I need to find a new example. But so like the movie, it follows Freytag's storytelling structure to the letter, right? And for those of you that seen the movie, the exposition part, it's, remember Marlin's wife gets killed by the barracuda, right? There's only one egg that survives. Then Marlin becomes like this helicopter parent, and on and on and on. And then you see all the other steps that it follows, all the way to the resolution at the end. Spoiler alert, right? This movie's like 20 years old. But there's a resolution at the end where Marlin and Nemo reunite, and Marlin's transformed and becomes sort of a less neurotic parent, right? So anyway, to make a long story longer, the method that I use, and it's not something I invented, it's something that I was taught. You can find it out on the internet. The storytelling technique that I use for job interviews is called the STAR method. Okay, so yeah, so it's an acronym. So it's basically like a storytelling technique that ensures you answer an interview question completely and in an effective manner. It harnesses the power of a good story, within the context of a job interview. So you avoid, useless and weak generalities. You're able to convey like a powerful narrative arc, and also, this is highly important, you stand out, right? So you're basically crafting like a detailed story in response to the person's question, where you're the main character, right? And when you follow the acronym, and I'll get to that here in a second, right? There's no plot holes, right? You give full comprehensive answers. So the STAR method shows that you're the best fit, right? You have the qualities and skills the employer is looking for. You're passionate about the job, and again, you stand out. So the STAR stands for situation. Right? So what was the situation you were in? And again, this is all in response to the interviewer's question to you. So you describe a situation, right? You really contextualize, give as much detail as possible. What was the task you were given, or what was the goal that you were trying to achieve? Okay, that's the T. And then action stands for like, what were your actions? What did you do? Not your teammates, not anybody else, but what did you do? And then what was the result? And I have to be clear, like, it's what were the positive results, right? We want a happy ending to this particular story, right? So what were the positive results that you achieved? Okay. So in terms of how it works on the ground. So for example, let's say someone asks you, okay, Brian, well, how do you handle adversity in your life, right? And you hear a lot of common answers. Common answers might be, well, I'm a resilient person. I can bounce back from setbacks quickly, blah, 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 right? I mean, those are fine answers, but they're, number one, they're very generic. They're not detailed. They're very forgettable, right? So a STAR example might be something like this. And this is actually one that I've used in my personal life. So I'll try to be as quick as I can, but mine, so again, the question is, how do you handle adversity? I might say something like, well, about, a few years ago, I was attempting to go back to graduate school, and I was studying for the GRE. It's called the Graduate Record Exam. And I had applied to some really top-notch school. I was wanting to apply to some really top-notch schools, so I needed to get really high scores. And so I gave myself a 3-month window to study. I went out, I bought the GRE study guides, the ones that are about that thick. And I laid out a 3-month study plan, and I just went at it. Studied every day for 3 months. The day of the test came around. Of course, I was very nervous. I went over to NCCU to take the exam, and it's a 4-hour exam. absolutely brutal. There's a verbal component. And for those of you that have taken it, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that will take it, I'm sorry. Right? There's a verbal component. There's a math component. There's a writing component. 4 hours sitting on the computer. So anyway, I took the test. You get your results immediately after. So I hit the screen. I was like, okay, I want to see how I did. I bombed. Okay, and again, this was studying for 3. I scored like in the 83rd percentile for the verbal, which was pretty good, not good enough to where I wanted to be. And I scored in the 30th percentile in math. And so I was absolutely devastated. I mean, I went outside, I shed a few tears. I was bummed. You know, for a couple of days, I was really down, sort of thinking, you know, my grad school dream is over. It's not going to happen. You know, oh, I hate school anyway. All those thoughts that we think, right? So I regrouped. I made a new plan. Right. I found when the next test date was about 4 weeks away. I pivoted, like Larry said. I went and bought a study course, one that I thought that was a little fit my learning style a little bit better. I put in the work for about a month, went to take the test again, and happen to say that after, you know, when I got my results, I was able to score in like the 93rd percentile on the writing, the 70th percentile on the math, which was huge for me. I had done math for quite a long time. And then like in the 98th percentile on the writing. So I was super happy. And then I was able to apply to a lot of graduate schools, and fortunately was able to you know, get admitted to some really top schools, including, you know, like Duke University here locally. And so that was how I was able to handle adversity in that particular context. So again, to make a long story longer, that's, if you give an example like that, you're not just saying general things. You're giving a specific story that gives an example that, hey, I've exhibited these actual behaviors, right? It's not just talk. And they'll remember you. They're like, oh yeah, you're the guy that bombed the GRE. Oh, okay, yeah. Right, when the group gets back together and debriefs on who they might want to hire. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That was perfect. That was perfect. I know you guys, thank you, Laura, for writing that, the STAR method right there in the chat box. Make sure you guys keep that in your mind. Situation, task, action, results. That is awesome. And I mean, clearly, I mean, after that story, I want to hire you. I'm not offering a job. I'm just like, sorry, but you know, when I do, I want to hire.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Thank you for sharing that. That was great. I know you guys good notes and got something out of it. So think about what your story is. And I know it's difficult in interviews because you never know what they're going to ask you. But if you can kind of get that STAR method in your mind and you think about that, you know, take that minute to pause and think about how you can apply those skills, you know, those tactics, that strategy to how you answer the question. Clearly, it absolutely makes the difference. So that was brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to Larry Tucker. And your question, sir. So we're going to be talking about moving beyond the traditional elevator pitch. You know, we hear that term all the time. You know, you got to have your little 30 seconds, tell me who you are. So Larry, would you share with us, what are some unique, effective strategies to present yourself in the most memorable way to others in a moment's notice? So what kind of, how can we tweak this to make it more powerful?
Okay, good question. And as they say, I can tell you, but I can show you better than I can tell you. So
Yay.
Can I share my screen with you, please?
Please, absolutely.
And what I want to do is I want to talk to you about can you see my screen here?
I can't.
Can you guys can't see it? Still cannot
No.
see it? All right, let's try it again. Let me try that again. How about now?
Yes.
Okay. So what I want to do is I want to be able to talk to you about how are you able to talk about or stand out and be memorable when you have a short period of time. So I want to start by telling you this story. This story is called the Bricklayer story. It's an old story, but I think it's relevant to what we're talking about today. A reporter was walking downtown one day, and he noticed there was a new construction site. And at the construction site, he noticed there was 2 workers laying bricks, one on each side of the construction site. So he goes to one of the bricklayers and asks him, he says, "What are you doing?" The guy says, "Isn't it obvious? I'm a bricklayer, I'm laying bricks." I said, "Okay." So then he goes to the other side of the construction site and says, "What are you doing?" The guy says, looks him in the eye and says with enthusiasm, "I'm building a cathedral because I want to help people get closer to heaven." So now, when you walk away from that story, I have a question for you. Which bricklayer is more memorable and why? A second question for you. If you were an employer, let's say you were a construction business owner, which bricklayer would you hire and why? I want you to think about that for a minute. So let's look at what employers, from the employer's perspective, here's what we know. We know that employers want to be able to know you, they want to like you, and they want to trust you. They want to be able to know that you are qualified for the job. They want to be able to like you. They want to be able to feel that you can play and work in their sandbox. They want to be able to see that you are a team player. And they want to trust you. They want to be able to feel that you will give an honest day work for an honest day pay. But employers also know that there's 2 types of employers. The first type of employer is called an intrinsic motivated worker, an extrinsic motivated worker. The intrinsic motivated worker is externally motivated. They are externally motivated. They're motivated by money. You give them money, they work. You give them more money, they do more work. They're motivated by prizes. I'm giving a prize to the person that sells the most houses in this month, in the month of November. Or bonuses. This is how they're motivated. That's the extrinsically motivated worker. The other kind of worker is called the intrinsically motivated worker. This is the self-motivated worker. They are internally motivated. They are motivated by that sense of purpose. I'm doing this for a reason bigger than myself. They are motivated by enjoyment. I'm doing this job because I love it. I like it. Or they motivated by passion. This is my passion in life. This is why I do what I do. Now, early during the labor movement, employees began to realize that there was a different kind of work ethic between those 2 workers, between the extrinsic worker and the intrinsic worker. They call it the principal agent problem. What they found out is that the extrinsically motivated worker, this is kind of like the first bricklayer we saw, they need constant motivation to perform. You have to keep giving them money, giving them bonuses, prizes, get them to work. Also, they believe that extrinsically motivated workers require constant supervision when they worked. For instance, they found that when they turned their back on an extrinsic motivated worker, what would normally happen is that either they would stop working or the amount of work would decline. Whereas the intrinsically motivated, the self-motivated worker, it'd be 5 o'clock. And everybody, when we say, "Johnny, aren't you ready to go home?" And Johnny said, "Hey, I'm almost finished. I'm really into this thing, you know, and I want to wait till I get finished." So this is the employee's dilemma. The employee's dilemma is, how do I recruit and how do I retain the intrinsically motivated, the self-motivated workers? I know you say to yourself, well, Larry, why is that important to me? Well, it's important to you because when you are networking, or when you go to an interview or a career fair, you are competing with almost maybe more than 100 bricklayers for the same job. And you want to figure out, how can I stand out? How do I differentiate myself? How do I convince her that I am a self-motivated worker and she or he should refer me or consider me for an interview? And you have to do that in 30 seconds and less. They call it an elevator speech because when you get in the elevator and you push the 10th floor, from the time you get in the elevator, you talk to somebody and you're trying to express yourself and make your pitch, you may have 30 seconds before it's time to end your pitch in the elevator. How do you do that? In 2016, a guy by the name of Simon Sinek wrote a book called Start with Why. According to Simon Sinek, he believed that people don't care what you do, they don't care how you do it, they only care why you do it. So he said that if you want to connect with people, if you want to inspire people, especially in a short amount of time, inspire them with your why. So when you talk about making a elevator speech or a pitch, a couple of things you want to look at. You want to make sure that you set up the goal is to set up a time where you can meet and talk. You want to the purpose is to get contact information of someone involved with the hiring practice or the hiring process. You want to open up a constructive conversation which leads to an interview or to the next step. You want to get the listener to say, wow, that's interesting. Tell me more. This is what Brian was talking about, that curiosity gap. And again, it has to be within 30 seconds or less. So how do you get their attention? How do you differentiate yourself that fast and that small, short distance of time? You have to be memorable. You have to be like the cathedral builder in your respective industry. You have to be the 3 C's. You have to be clear, concise, and compelling. So I want to talk about my 3-step process for structuring an elevator speech or elevator pitch.
Okay, Larry.
Yes.
Okay, we still have to get to Marcia, so if you can just wrap this up with this 3 steps so that we can make sure we get everybody out on time and that we can hear from Marcia as well. Okay, if you don't mind.
You have to have a hook, an attention grabber, and it also includes your why. These are some other things that you can use, and I want to be able to tell you some examples in 1 minute. You have to have an introduction. An introduction will have your school name, your major, and your school, and you have to have a CTA, a call to action, where you're asking for information, referral, or an appointment. Let me give you an example. This is an example of doing with shocking fact statistics. This is one that I use. Did you see the recent Gallup poll survey that said that 7 out of 10 American workers say that they hate what they do every day? My name is Larry Tucker. I'm a career coach, and my mission is to make sure that everyone that I meet loves what they do every day, because it's been proving that workers who love what they do are happier, live more meaningful lives, and live longer. So tell me, do you love what you do every day? Because if not, I would love to show you how. Here's my card.
Wow.
One more, Sandra.
Yeah.
This one right here is using a provocative or puzzling statement. Okay. This one starts with, hello. Tell me, hello. They call me a search engine optimization guru. My name is Larry Tucker. I'm the 2nd-year web development student at Wake Tech Community College. The instructors in the web development program called me as a search engine optimization guru because 70% of the websites that I publish land on the first page of the Google search. I would love to sit down with you and discuss how my skills and expertise could benefit your company. Here is a copy of my resume. So it starts with a provocative statement. It goes into the introduction, and it talks about your UVP, your unique value proposition. I wish I could show you more, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat box so you can have that information.
Awesome. Awesome. That's perfect. Thank you. I mean, and I'm sorry, I really wish we had more time because you had so many great nuggets in there that we definitely wanted to take advantage of. But I mean, I'm sure everybody was just jotting down. There was so many great things about just intrinsically and extrinsically, extrinsically. I'm sure it made you think, you know, well, what kind of person am I? Or am I the person that needs other people to motivate me, right? That's something to consider. But those are really great tips, Larry. Thank you so, so much. Okay, we're going to move on in the interest of time. So this one, Miss Marcia Mccoy, what you're going to see now is actually a series of skits that involve the actual interview process, okay? And then after that's over, Marcia's going to share with us how do you leverage the power of your story in an interview? So she'll talk about that afterwards. But right now, you're going to see a series of skits, and I am going to be the actual interviewer interviewing these wonderful candidates. The job that we will be hiring for is actually a position, an internship at Amazon. And so we're so excited to interview 5 different candidates for this job. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Our first candidate, her name is Silent Sally. So Silent Sally, if you would just, if you could come on in, we're ready for you for the interview.
I'm here.
Hi. Oh, great. Oh, Silent Sally, thank you so much for being here today. How you doing?
Good.
Great. Wonderful. Okay, so Silent Sally, if you will, just can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I'm a weight tech student. I'm fun. And I get the job done.
Okay, great. All right. So can you tell me why do you want to work for this company? Why do you want a job with Amazon?
I love Amazon and I need a job.
Okay. Okay. All right. So this is a high stress job, Miss Sally. So how do you handle stress?
I stay cool and I read.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That was all the questions that we had for you today, Silent Sally. Thank you for your time. And someone will be in contact with you. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye. All right. Okay. So yeah. So that was Silent Sally, and we were and so you know what? Why don't you do this? You be the interviewer with me. I would love for you to kind of jot down in your notes what your thoughts were of Silent Sally. You know, if there was any coaching that you would be able to give to her on her interviewing style. I don't think she actually used the STAR method or any of that. But so maybe that's some coaching we could give to Silent Sally. But I'm really excited now. We've got Perfect Patty, and she's coming on in. Perfect Patty, thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
Thank you so much, potential employer. I'm just so excited to be here.
Great. Wonderful. All right. So why don't you tell me something about yourself?
Well, I graduated from Campbell University with my bachelor's degree and the Florida State University, the top schools in the nation. So I know I'm just perfect for this job, just perfect for this job. I love what I do.
Wonderful. Okay, great. So tell me exactly, since you're perfect for the job, why do you want a job with this particular company?
Because I'm the one that'll be there an hour before anything starts. I'm gonna make sure not only I do my job, but I'm gonna make sure my coworkers do their jobs because Amazon is our first priority. Nobody comes before Amazon from A to Z, baby.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? This is a high stress job. So how do you handle stress, Perfect Patty?
I take it and I eat it for breakfast. I'm telling you, stress needs to happen, but the right amount of stress. And I know for a fact that donuts make the world go round, and anything anybody else says, I just squash it because I know that I will get the job done and I will not be stressed because I'm perfect.
Okay. All right. That's great. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. And someone will be in contact with you.
It was so nice meeting you.
You
Here's
as
my
well.
card. Definitely keep in touch. Keep in touch.
We will do that. Okay. Bye-bye. Take care. All right. She's perfect, isn't she? That's great. Love that. All righty. I hope you are taking notes for Perfect Patty, but of course she was perfect. That's her name. So anyway, we're gonna move on. We have this can't be right, but it says Trippin' Tammy is our next person.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh,
How you
great.
doing?
Hey, how are you, Trippin' Tammy? It's really nice to meet you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been doing hair for a few years, but I wanted to get back into the swing of things. So I'm here to do this for my family because I'm all about that family life. I love my family. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so why do you want this job and work for this company, Tammy?
Because I need a job. I mean, why are you here? Because I need a job. I mean, it's a convenient thing that Amazon's kind of close. I shop all the time. Sometimes I be getting that free shipping and handling. Sometimes I might have to expedite some stuff. But I need a job. And I need to get my cousin Ray Ray to get up here also because we all need jobs. Because we're going to do this thing the legal way. We're going to do this thing the right way because Amazon is the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So just one last question. So how do you handle stress? Would you say you handle stress well?
I don't get stressed. My edges are too important. But if somebody try to stress me out, I will tell my mama we gonna roll up on them and we gonna squash it. Because that's what we do. We squash stuff. And I'm a squash for Amazon. That's what we gonna do.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Trippin' Tammy. That's great. So you know what? Somebody's going to be in contact with you. Okay. So thank you for your interview today. Okay.
Okay, but if you need me, you call me because I will squash for Amazon. Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay. Bye-bye. Wow. All right. We've got two more interviewers coming up. So let's move on to questioning Claire. Questioning Claire, are you there? Questioning Claire, she should be.
Good afternoon.
Oh, there she is. Oh, great. Okay, hi. How are you today?
I am very well, ready for this interview. How are you doing today, by the way?
I'm good, thank you. So listen, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, Questioning Claire?
Well, I'm just so interested in everything Amazon. I mean, I love what I do, but let me ask you just, what do you do here at your job? What's your title?
Well, I'm the HR director, human resource.
How long have you been here?
I've been here for about 5 years, but I have more questions.
Atmosphere? I mean, really, is Amazon a good place to work?
It's
I'm
great.
really interested in it, but I'm just curious because like Amazon is so big. Like, how do you get to know people? Like,
We'll talk about that in the end. I actually have some questions for you if you don't mind. Why do you want this job at our company? Questioning Claire.
Well, I think the Amazon is really, really cool, and I think people know about it. It's worldwide. But my question is, like, really and truly, is it really credible at every level? Like, are actual people enjoying their jobs here? Do people smile, or is that just a commercial? Like, what do you see when you show up?
So one last question here. How do you handle stress? Are you good under stress? Questioning Claire.
I don't get stressed. I don't personally get stressed. I don't allow myself to get stressed. But I mean, what do you do under stress? Because I would love some ideas in case stress ever tried to come at me or anything like that.
Right. Okay. You know what? We can talk about that at another time. Unfortunately, I just got one more client I need to see. So somebody's going to be in contact with you, and hopefully if we get to
call me. Do you know when?
Well, I don't know exactly, but if you just, so eventually someone will give you a call. So thank you so much. If you can call in.
It's so nice meeting you.
You as well. Take care.
Okay.
All righty. All right. We've got one more, and hopefully we can wrap up these interviews for the day and move on. So Confident Clarissa, if you're ready, you can come on in. Confident Clarissa. Hey.
Yes. Nice to meet you, Ms. D. I'm Confident Clarissa. I'm glad to be here today.
Wow. Well, it's nice to have you. So Miss Clarissa, can you just tell me about yourself?
If I could describe myself in one word, I'm very passionate. I'm currently a teaching professor actually at Wake Tech Community College in public speaking, but I love helping my students do whatever they need to be better speakers so they can improve their areas that they work in.
Wow. Oh, great. Okay, so why do you want a job at this company? Why do you want to work for Amazon?
Amazon has so much potential being an international company. I know that I can literally connect to people, not just in North Carolina, but across the United States, the world, and we're meeting needs. Amazon is still growing, and I want to take it to the next level.
Yeah, yes, that's great. So okay, last question. How do you handle stress? How do you handle stress?
I do find a way to laugh every day, whether it's YouTube, the Dry Bar, which is actually subscription, or I also connect to my mentors because I'm not the only person invested in me, but I have people that I can reach out to, vent to, and I come back stronger so I don't let stress get the best of me.
Wow, that is amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time,
Thank you.
Clarissa. It has been a pleasure talking with you today. Someone will be in contact, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
You as well. Wow. All right, everyone. I mean, that was amazing. So now we're going to bring end scene, actually, end scene. Let me take off the glasses. I'm no longer the interviewer. We've got a few minutes left before we have to wrap up, and then we'll have Miss Laura Bethay give her final words to you because we do want to respect everyone's time. But thank you, first of all, to Marcia Mccoy for playing with us today. All of the people living inside of you, we thank each and all 5 of them. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank y'all for coming out. We definitely wanted to keep it creative for you guys so that we can show you what that looks like, some live examples. So I hope you found that not just entertaining, but also really maybe you saw yourself somewhere in there. So Miss Marcia, if you don't mind, can you just answer really quickly for us? How do you leverage the power of your story in an interview? Can you give us just a couple of minutes of wisdom, and then we're going to go right to Laura Bethay, and she's going to close us out.
Take the time to rewatch this video, and not just the acting part at the end, but take the time because everything said beforehand is so valid, applicable, so rich. Go back and work it like a good piece of chicken. What you want to remember with the being memorable is have an answer ready before you ever show up. I tell my students, if you could describe yourself in 3 adjectives, what would it be? Because everybody's going to be dedicated. Everybody's going to be confident. Everybody's going to be these different things that are general. But you want to have something that does make you stand out and have something specific to attach. And something I learned from a friend of mine that majored in business at Florida State University is to have something specific that may include numbers. One of my attributes I found out when I look at my teaching career here at Wake Tech is that I had 100% retention rate for multiple semesters, for multiple classes. So students that started with me, finished with me. Numbers are memorable. But everything else said is true. The stars, the C's, the plan of action. The biggest thing I give you is my personal mantra that I teach in all of my communication classes. Practice makes permanence. Copyright Miss McCoy, 2006. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanence. Because what you do in practice is what you're going to do come game time. So if you do something correctly in practice, then you'll get it better when game time shows up. If you do not practice it correctly, then Shaquille O'Neal and them free throws, they just don't work out all the time. Therefore, make sure you have your answer ready. Pull it up out of your pocket. We call it a canned speech in communication, public speaking specific. But have an answer ready and be ready to keep going if they give you the time past your 30-second elevator speech. But rewatch this video. It is truly rich, and I was encouraged by it. Thank you all, my panelists. Yay. Hopefully I made you proud at the end. This is Miss McCoy signing off with her name on
with her name on the cup. You gotta love it. All right, Miss Bethay, thank you so much. Go ahead and take us out of here.
Wow, I am just thoroughly impressed with the level of expertise, insight, energy, right? And just the fun of it all. Because when we talk about the art of storytelling, we are creating the scene. We're laying down the foundation. We're creating those page turners that actually empower us to relay ourselves to prospective employers. So, do you see my screen at all?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. So, what I want you to do as a takeaway, connect with each of our panelists. There's tons more of resources, of energy that they can provide. Please connect with them professionally. Make sure you link up with them. LinkedIn is a way to do so. Stay connected. And also, career and employment resources, I cannot stress enough. We are here to support you as currently enrolled students. So know that you can connect with us via social media, our web pages, our email address, and our appointment link is there. So if you are in need of an appointment, whether you need to explore your goals, if you need to freshen up that resume, if you need to set this 30-second elevator pitch, we are here to support you every step of the way because the ultimate goal is landing that job. So we want to express to you, we're here for you. Appointments are welcome in person on some of the campuses as well as virtually. So what I'll do in the chat box as you're logging off, I'll place this information there. Lastly, you're going to see a link there to actually give us feedback on today's session. We would love to know what your thoughts are on the session today. So don't hesitate to complete the survey with your input. Your feedback is appreciated. So thank you all. We are at time here. We appreciate your presence and we look forward to you connecting with us again. Have a great day.